All right, there, grade 8. We are going to look a little bit today. There are no practice set per se, but we're going to look at scatter plots. People use scatter plots to chart similar data in order to um, see if there's a correlation, if a certain input will give a certain output. Um, for example, weight and height could be one. Number of hours. Here it says student spends watching TV and their grade point average. So it talks about that. And when we have some terms that they use the term positive correlation, and that has to do with an upward slope, a positive slope, and negative correlation deals with negative slope. So you can see that a positive correlation, you can actually draw a line through it. It makes sense. And with a negative one, you could actually draw a line through that data too, and it makes sense. And they use positive and negative correlations to predict stuff. So they'll say, oh, well, it shows that if you do this, you will get that roughly. So it really helps them to see trends and make decisions based on that. Right here, you can see that there's no correlation over in this one. The dots are all over the place. You can't predict it. Okay. Now, part of the activity that we would have done in class is look at the frequency of vowels in English. In English, there was a whole activity there. What I'm going to actually do is just go through some of the questions that are tied to this. You can see that they've grabbed their two variables. They've put that in there into a scatter plot. And the scatter plot, for example, if you have 50 letters, you can see that this person had just over 10 vowels in 50 letters. And if you get up to 200 letters, then you have somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 vowels there as well. So let's go through the questions. Describe the relationship indicated on your scatter plot. Now, we had talked about this already, and this is a positive correlation. So I've written that down, positive correlation. On your scatter plot, sketch a best fit line. And then it says, should the line pass through the point of origin and why? So let's first work at sketching a line. So in order to do that, you want to roughly put your line through where it would best fit on this correlation. So I've drawn my line. Now you may draw your line slightly different, but find the slop of your best fit line. Should the line pass through the point of origin? And then why? And think about this, right? This is total number of vowels, and then it says total number of letters. So if we have 0 letters, we should have 0 vowels. That makes sense. So our answer, of course, to this would be yes, 0 letters equals 0 vowels. That would always make sense. And now it says find the slope of your best fit line. So what we're going to do is choose 2 different points and see roughly what our slope would be. So let's draw our first one coming out from 20 over here. And you can see that we have a rough point that we could possibly get. We have this one here as a line. Okay, so we have a slope there shown. We have 2 points. We have a point here. We have a point here, right? And our rise seems to be roughly, what do you think? My one line is a bit slow off, but it seems to be about a 4. So our rise is 4, and our run, how far out do we go? So here we're at about 65, and here we're at about 75. And of course, those are numbers that wouldn't work for dividing at all, but our rise over run is 4 over 75. And then it says convert that to a percentage, and that's where we grab our calculator and go 4 divided by 75, and we're at about 5% slope. All right, so that kind of goes right through it, and then it says, what does the slope mean in this situation? So we have to think about it. And that's basically saying that the more letters you have, you're going to have a growth in the number of vowels. It's quite easy how that looks. Is there a predictive value to your results? Select another paragraph in the book and do it. I'll leave that up to you. If you want to do that work, that's fine. But hopefully you understand it. I'll also just put a nice video from someone else on Scatterplots that you can watch if you have the time. That's it for now, grade 8. Make sure you complete all of the odd exercises.